Whether you're feeling happy or looking to make the world a happier place, this episode is for you.
You're listening to the Dynamic Women podcast. Each week, you'll be inspired by our global community of women. They'll share with you tools and stories to help you be dynamic in every area of life. Here's your host, award-winning coach, and the CEO and founder of Dynamic Women, Diane Rolston.
Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I am Diane Rolston, your host, and today I'm going to talk about happiness. You see, on March 20th, it was International Day of Happiness. However, the world right now does not feel very happy, does it? No, with everything going on in the Ukraine, everything we're seeing on the news about the destruction, about all the refugees having to flee, it's hard to be in our own happiness. However, we do need to be coming from a place of our own happiness, because really we are the only ones responsible for our own happiness. You know, a lot of times people get married, they join companies or whatever, expecting that other person or expecting the company, their job, their career, the money, whatever it is to bring them happiness. However, we are all in charge of our own happiness. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about owning your own happiness, sharing happiness, and what they're saying is a really great action for happiness. So International Day of Happiness, this campaign is a global celebration to mark the United Nations International Day of Happiness. It's actually coordinated by Action for Happiness. It's a nonprofit movement of people from 160 countries supported by a partnership of like-minded organizations. Did some research into it and found about happiness that Canada is actually ranked 15th this year in happiest people. And it could be due to COVID, or maybe it was due to being lower because of the floods and the fires and the protests and just all the unrest that we've been having right now. And I'm sure you're going to that place of, well, who's in number 1 or 2 or 3 spot? I'll give you the top 7. So Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Switzerland, Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Sweden. And so you can see that a lot of European countries, and I'm not going to go into why they're happier, because I really want to bring it back to where we are and what we can do in our daily lives. And so I mentioned before about how we are in charge of our own happiness. And I think our society really values certain aspects of our life to make us happy. So we look to outward accomplishments, outward material goods that we earn or buy or whatever you want to call it, but we're not looking towards what is it truly that makes you happy as a human. So I'll share a little bit about where I am right now. I'm hanging out in Ontario. I'm in my mom's guest room. And this is one of the places that I am happiest. Puzzling with my mom, sitting and watching the news or different TV shows together. We like anything that is musical or dancing and watching those together, sometimes game shows. And it's the simplicity of that. Also, for me, it's walking in the sun. It's the laughter with friends and family. These are the simple joys that maybe during COVID you found again. In my coaching world, I really am working hard to have people switch from looking to their success in life, coming from their accomplishments, and knowing how content they are based on how much have I achieved and what do I have and where am I in my goals. Where really we should be measuring our life and our happiness according to how satisfied we are. So if you look at your life right now, how would you score your life based on success? And how would you score your life based on satisfaction? I do have a tool that I use to do this, but if you just gave yourself a number for both of them, what would it be? And I get that there are different areas of life. I actually go through 10 of them. And so by going through that, you can also see which areas are higher and which areas are lower. But a lot of times when I first work with someone and I ask them what the number was for that area and I ask them why, and they might say, well, I'm not making what I want to make. or my house isn't as big as I want it to be, or I don't have enough disposable income to be able to go on vacation more. So again, it comes back to the things that we have, the things that we accomplish or earn. Looking at the dayofhappiness.net in their About section, I love this paragraph that says a profound shift in attitudes is underway all over the world. People are now recognizing that progress should be about increasing human happiness and well-being, not just growing the economy. Some people tell me that they're happiest on vacation, and I ask why, and they say, because I get to slow down, I get to sleep in, I get to cherish the moments and hang out with friends and have new experiences and live slower. And no one's talking about how they achieved all these things on their vacation. What if we brought into every day the things that seem only worthy of vacation, like an afternoon nap, or reading a book on your front porch, or laying in a hammock and just watching the clouds go by, having a dinner or picnic with friends and family, being able to sit by the beach and just enjoy the waves rolling in or watching people splash in the water. Like, these are the moments, but yet we look to things that are so much bigger. And with everything that's going on in the world today, happiness is not about these big moments. It's about the little things in life, the little moments where we really get to enjoy. Now, back in 2015, the Day of Happiness campaign was focused on relationships. And it says on the website, we are a social species and we thrive when we're closely connected to others. But modern society is leaving more and more people feeling disconnected, isolated, and lonely. And so where can you connect with another person in a real way? Stopping by with some flowers or inviting them over to have a grilled cheese and soup. Like, it doesn't have to be something major. Relationships. That's how we can share happiness, be part of the happiness and take action. And maybe you never thought about taking action towards your happiness. I kind of forgot about this for a while. I was just in the schedule of life and all the responsibilities I had and taking care of 2 kids and trying to get fit again after all these injuries and then having COVID. And it wasn't until my counselor said, well, what is in your life that makes you happy? And are you choosing to do these things that make you happy? And so this week, while I've been hanging out with my mom and hanging out with my family, I closed the computer and I just sat and I told stories and I listened to stories and I asked questions and I looked out the window at the birds and I chose happiness. I consciously made the decision to do activities for my happiness. Now, why? Why bother? With all the negativity in the world, we need to recharge. We need to refuel. We need to have our cups filled. We are so depleted. And maybe you're like, I'm not depleted. Maybe it hasn't hit you yet. You know, when a friend wanted to set up a meal train for me when my son broke his femur. And I said, oh, we're okay. Because I thought, financially we can just pay for meals. And there's my husband and I were together, and so both of us can tackle this. And yes, we didn't have any family around, and I thought, we'll get through this. It'll be okay. And I just went into grin and bear it and check things off my list and get things done mode. I said, no, we're good. We can handle this. And she said, but for how long can you keep your head above water? And you might not even know you're treading water, but it might just take one more thing. We've had COVID. We've had protests, we've had natural disasters, and now the war in Ukraine. There's a lot of things pulling at us. Responsibilities, wearing masks, not wearing masks, vaccines, financial disturbances. So taking action on your happiness, I'd say, is one of the critical things we need to do today to build up our energy reserves and our emotional reserves so that we don't get depleted. This is also a little message that I'm telling myself, I think. Dr. Mark Williamson said, the International Day of Happiness is more than just a fun celebration. It also reminds us all that the world is a better place when we connect with and care about the people around us. And so I encourage you, choose one activity, one thing, one choice you can make for your own happiness. That's step one. Step two, reach out to someone else and do something where you get to share happiness in relationship with them. And then, why not have this be a bit of a movement? Step three, put online about your happiness, what makes you happy. Maybe it's a photo of you with your dog by the beach. Maybe it is a bike ride with a friend. Share it to be a leader of a movement where we pride ourselves on choosing our own happiness and creating happiness in the lives of others. How often do we get together and we whine? It's a wine and wine fest. What if we change the conversations to what brought you joy this week? What made you happy? There's simple steps, yet things we don't do because of the heaviness of the world and all of our responsibilities. We have a chance here. And not just on this one day, but every single day. So I hope you choose happiness. I hope you share happiness with others. And I'd love to hear the things that you do for your happiness to inspire me and for me to be able to share it with others as well. So choose to be happy. This concludes this episode. Share it with a friend, write a review, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, instead of staying dynamic, why don't you stay happy? Bye.
Thank you, Dynamic Women, for joining us today. Please hop on over to iTunes to subscribe and leave us a review. Who do you know who needs to hear our message? We'd love it if you'd share our channel with your friends and family. If you're ready to be more dynamic, have more balance and more success, head over to www.dynamicwomenclub.com/free gift for your Key to Success book. Stay dynamic.